there, Ian here again on his walkabout, and I'm out in our beautiful garden here today, and this is the reason we bought this house, this fabulous garden, and it's just been a joy, and we wondered why the garden was so good. Well, I'm going to show you why. Now the reason why we have such a beautiful garden, and this is a 30-year-old house, is in this little shed, and that's our pump. It goes down 62 foot to some pretty good water down there. But here's the thing, I thought that it was just the water. It wasn't. It's something special about the water. And when I started pulling it apart and looking at the pump, which wasn't working when we got here, I found this. Have a look at it. It is a Carefree water conditioner. It's 30 years old. Yes, it looks just like a pipe, you can't see through it, but it's been in there for 30 years and it's created the beautiful garden that we now have. Now, the only problem was, after 30 years, I thought it wouldn't work. I rang Carefree Conditions, and sure enough, the wires to the electrodes, and you'll see here on a new Carefree water conditioner, you have two little stubs here, you have wires, they go down into the ground to create a little current in there. They'd rusted off. There'd been about 3 owners in the house, and whoever came after the first owner who installed it didn't even know what it was. So here we are. This is the new model. That one was brass, this is stainless steel, this one's smaller, but this one is now in where the original one was. So what do you think? Are you ready to have a closer look at the Carefree conditioner and see what it can do for your place? Let's go. And you can use it on your home, you can use it on your farm, or you can use it in industry. I met Bob last week. Amazing guy, he's 72, still going strong, roaming the world, talking to people about his conditions. He's just a plumber, and he did this 30 years ago. Now he markets throughout Australia, he exports to 7 countries, he's got patents on it, and the amazing thing was that this simple system, which really has no moving parts, no chemicals, can actually reduce salinity in the soil. That is so cool. Okay, so what is it? Well, it's a water problem solver, and you can see from these couple of photographs here, there's a small one there, and there's a large one, a very large one, which is in an irrigation situation. But this one here is the sort of thing I've got on my home. So, it's a water conditioner. I asked Bob what it was, and he said, look, it's not easy. He said, it's an inline catalytic water treatment system. It becomes a part of the pipeline, but what it does is reduce complex molecules down to their basic parts, and in some cases changes the form of them. That's probably the best way to explain it. The science has been done, so applications, you've got domestic, you've got your home, you've got your swimming pool, you've got your air conditioning, you've got your motorhome. In the farm, you've got every type of irrigation system, overhead, drip, flood, you've got sewage effluent, you've got golf courses, you've got any sort of salt-affected soil in the crops. In the industrial and commercial side, it works on cooling towers, boilers, heat exchangers, car washes. So, as Bob says, if it uses water, Carefree will improve it, and that's pretty darn right. So, here's just a few installation pictures there. You can see the top one there, that's a town supply, and the Carefree comes in. There's your meter, and there's your Carefree. This is a little one that goes onto a motorhome. This goes onto an evaporative air conditioner, which is very popular out west, and you'll see some pictures later of the results of that. There's an industrial cooling tower, how it fits into a swimming pool, a very simple installation, and how it goes onto a pressure pump. You notice that one's got a battery pack on it. I've got the same sort of situation without a battery pack. I'm using a couple of rods that go in the ground and create a little current. You can have a single earth kit, you can have a dual earth kit, that's what I've got. You can have a battery pack, or you can have a 240 volt power regulator. There's a very small current goes through it, and this is the secret of it. When Bob cracked this one, it made a huge difference to the performance. Now, most people are interested in it for their home, and particularly if, like in many areas of Australia, you have hard water, it'll actually remove water stains in your shower and your bath and your toilet. In the laundry, you'll find that the water saturates better and it cleans better. You'll have softer clothes, up to half the detergent. With tea and coffee making, your kettle will be clean, and you'll find that the taste is better. lawns and gardens, you use less water, which is utterly amazing in our case because we're on a well, and we need to conserve water. With your car wash, you'll have less water spotting on the windows and Duco. And if you're an air conditioner, it'll keep your air conditioner clean and minimise scar deposits. Now in swimming pools, you'll save up to 50% of your chemicals. You get incredible water clarity. You'll improve the filtration. You'll reduce the backwashing. You'll make cleaning easier because nothing sticks to the surface anymore. It works in salt or chlorine pools, and you'll find that your eyes feel better when you're in it. You don't get those sore eyes. And Bob has experienced with his own pool up to 50% energy saving, which in his case was $500 a year. In motorhomes, major problem wherever you are, you've got this horrible water you have to connect up to. You want to stay at a place, but you're worried about the water, and the water does all sorts of things to your hot water service, etc. in your motorhome. This little guy here, it's got a hose fitting there and a hose fitting there. It's a little battery pack on it. Makes it taste better. It protects the plumbing, which is hard to fix in a motorhome. You don't have any scale worries. The water feels softer. Again, lovely tea and coffee. Wash your car. Lasts forever. The only thing you've got to replace is a little battery, which lasts over a year, and it installs in seconds. Now, a lot of people say, how does it work? And it's a combination of turbulence through a uniquely designed chamber and a small electric current. Sounds too simple. Try to duplicate it, you can't do it. So the major thing is it causes separation of the mineral particles in the water, which changes their behaviour. So particles that normally bind together, and I'm thinking of calcium here, after water conditioning, they're separated. And this little photograph here from an electron microscope gives you an exact example of what we're talking about. The conditioned particles now have the ability to penetrate soil, increase permeability in the case of irrigation, but also you'll find you might get a white film on your kettle, for instance, but it just wipes off. It's not stuck on like it used to be. Carefree helps you neutralise the adverse effects of many of the undesirable substances in your water supply, and they're the ones that are going to cost you money. So you can look forward to overcoming problems like this. Look at that. That's before and after in a hot water system. After 6 weeks, the Carefree conditioner was installed. Many people don't realise that they're paying through the nose for their hot water simply because of the scale that's in there. And there it is, 1.5 millimetres of scale. That's virtually nothing. Increases your energy consumption by 12.5%. So the amount of scale, just that amount of scale will double your hot water bill. That's amazing. There's anodes from a hot water service, and you can see the difference. Nothing was done except changing the water supply over to the Carefree. In many places they're using evaporative coolers. Look at the difference. It's incredible. That's a 14-year-old evaporative water conditioner. You've probably looked inside your dishwasher if you have one, and if your dishwasher looks like the one on the left, this is what you can look forward to. For agriculture, now I'm going to talk about agriculture here because if you put on your whole house, you may as well use it for your garden. And I might go on a bit with the agriculture, but I mean, amazing stuff. Look at that. The rising soil salinity was lowered by 2/3, 66%. And look at this. Look at the leaf burn. Look at the difference. Look at the root growth. I mean, my little garden out here is absolutely raging, and I'm using this water. But look at the difference. That's the proof. Okay, there's those pictures again, and that's why you see it works. So it eliminates the cohesion between mineral particles in the water. They're actually producing smaller water. And this is what it does to your calcium. There are 3 forms of calcium. There is the normal calcium that you get, which is CaCO3 or calcite. There's aragonite, and there's vaterite, and they are the same chemical composition but with different crystalline structures. The atoms are arranged differentially. So what Carefree does, and this is why it's so important for people with water ionizers, it changes the calcite to aragonite. And aragonite does not stick. And that's the massive difference. Calcite is half as soluble as aragonite, and calcite is 4 times, and at 50 degrees Celsius, it's in your kettle, it's 4 times less soluble than the aragonite. So each time you use your kettle with ordinary calcium, you're depositing this very sticky, very hard calcite, whereas you could be depositing aragonite, which will just wipe off. So cool. And this is the amazing thing, that once you start using it, it will get rid of existing calcite. And what it does, it insulates the older calcite, reduces its temperature and supersaturation. The calcite crystal growth slows and accumulates defects. In other words, it starts breaking up. And the smaller and more defective the calcite crystal is, the more soluble it is. So as it breaks up, the aragonite gets into it and peels it off. Isn't that incredible? If aragonite's deposited last, it deforms the layer underneath it, so it dissolves and reforms. So you will get, when you start using this, white flakes in your kettle, etc. That's your old calcium coming off. Also in your shower. Laboratory tests confirm Carefree conditions penetrate soil 84% faster. Okay, scientists are saying that salinity in soil has changed hugely. And there's the Walkabout Golf Club where the salinity problem was overcome to the tune of 66% with all of the graphs and interesting information. And please ask us more. There's another case of paddocks there which were lowered by 89%. Another case of chlorides which were lowered by 41%. Here's another case of soil chloride lowered by 77%. Plus, now this is amazing, this wheat farmer only watered 8 times to have that change, and he got the best crop he'd ever had. I mean, the farm stories are incredible. Irrigation farmer, saltwater problem overcome. Vegetable grower saved $30,000, returned 830% on his investment in a Carefree. It increased crops by 50%, returned the grower 500%, increased 340%. Farm income rose by $136,000. I mean, it's getting pretty crazy. Without and with penetrates the soil vertically directly to the root zone, so you're not wasting anything like the same amount of water. For example, the same onion production. As I said, Bob has been sending this all over the world. There they are installing it in Mexico. And there's the plant condition before. Consequence of using well water. And here's what happens afterwards. Look at the difference. 7 weeks. I mean, we're talking about amazing stuff. And 9 weeks, and green onion production totally rescued, ready for market. How incredible is that? Here's the patents to show that we really mean business. And here is the all-important watermark, which means it has been certified for use in Australia. Carefree has read out more than 100,000 people with water problems for over 30 years. I think it's a fabulous product. I'm really glad that we've incorporated it into our water filter range, particularly our home water filter range. And when you look at this, you'll see why it's worthwhile talking to us if you're considering any whole house water filter, because we'll incorporate a Carefree and make it so much better.